Okay, a brief profile about Professor Celestine Enugu. He's a senior member of IEE. Are you guys listening? Can you hear me? Good. He's a senior member of IEE degree from Enugu University in 2002 at same school. Another master's degree in communication hardware and microsystem engineering from Uppsala University, Sweden in 2008. Ranked under 100 in the university ranking and the PhD degree in electronics from the University of Aberdeen, UK in 2013. He's currently a visiting professor at City University, Enugu, an ACM distinguished speaker, a senior lecturer with the Bank College China, and visiting from the university on experience and 20 years technical parenting project, circuit theory, data networks, and distributed systems, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, machine learning, and control systems. A board member of IEE, motivated and hardworking researcher with a wireless-centered network security book, and more than 100 publications. He is a fellow of the Higher Education Academy, United Kingdom, and listed among the top African scientists by the Academic Science of South Africa, International Science Council Regional Office Area, Office Africa. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good morning, students. I hope everyone is fine. Let's quickly start off. We don't have that too much time, and I will try to. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, good. So, hello, everyone. We are going to talk a kind of expository today, something that will motivate what you are studying. And we're looking at exploring strengths and weaknesses of what we call Education 4.0 in the higher education institution during this COVID-19 and or after COVID-19. There's no need introducing myself again. She has already done the work. So we'll go straight to what we have today. Now, I'll be looking at these key points, understanding what is Education 4.0 in terms of artificial intelligence. Then we'll look at the changing world with COVID-19, how it has affected everyone, and how it has affected what you're studying, affected most, we say, the Africans. The Internet of Things vulnerability, where we had to talk about Education 4.0. Then we'll look at artificial intelligence, the solution, the threats, strengths, and weaknesses. Then I'll give you 10 steps to cybersecurity. You know, this is Department of Computer Science. You cannot have a computer science things without talking about cybersecurity. Then I will tell you why AI is the future of what I call Internet of Intelligence of Things. Then I also expand the areas where you are marketable as a student of this department, where and how you can make money, you can have a career. That is why I said all depends on the analyst. Then we'll look at enabling a sustainable future. Then I'll also give you a brief of what we call next generation artificial intelligence that some of us are working on. Then we'll come to a conclusion. Now, changing world with Education 4.0. Now you come to what is Education 4.0. It's a desired approach to learning that aligns with the emerging fourth industrial revolution. And when you use the word industrial revolution, you're practically talking about artificial intelligence. So you have to think, we have the human intelligence, we have the artificial intelligence, where things can be predicted, where things can be detected, and where you can take response to it, and how it has saved the world, and what it's going to do. A lot of bigger countries are already, in this. Some of you may just be reading the theory aspect of it, but people like us are already practicalizing, this artificial intelligence. So it's an industrial revolution that has to do with everything automating. We talk about automation, where your refrigerator can be speaking to your television, and where you can be outside controlling a whole city, where you can, by using computer vision, dictate crimes just by, having a CCTV that pick people's face. You can, a lot of things happens with artificial intelligence. So it has the good side, it has the bad side. But here we use the good side to catch those using it for the bad side. So it's an industrial revolution that focuses on smart technology. Everything smart, everything interrelated. Now, why computer science is the main thing now? Why? It's the main thing because it cuts across. In fact, yesterday someone called me from De Montfort University in UK. They wanted me to speak on AI, in relation to smart energy, what we call Internet of Energy, IOE. And then by the time I gave them points on what AI can do in energy is enormous, including people who studied linguistics. Those who study linguistics can use artificial intelligence. Now, that is, I'm just giving you the length and way, and the strength of what artificial intelligence can do. So it's everywhere. In terms of medical, now artificial intelligence are needed. They are the ones making breakthrough in terms of detection of COVID. That means even in health, we have artificial intelligence. So don't ever underestimate what you are studying. Don't ever think that you are just doing computer science to be a secondary school teacher or primary school teacher. It is controlling the world. So that's why I said changing world with Education 4.0. So we have the smart technology, that is the industrial revolution. We have the artificial intelligence. It's just sad that, things happening back in Nigeria would have been, we can't say we have a problem if we have people who are implementing these ideas, And then we have the robotics, it's part of the industrial revolution, all of which impact everyday lives. So this is what we do outside the country and why we are making waves in it. Then the COVID-19, all of you already know. But I want to let you know that AI tools have been registering numerous successes in major diseases like cancer, neurology, and now I think I've written 5 papers using artificial intelligence to solve COVID-19. In terms of preventing, in terms of seeing, in terms of knowing where it's happening, in terms of detecting what is going to happen next, in terms of also predicting who can survive, who will live. We're talking of exact data, So we are using it now to detect coronavirus. Now, some of you know already what COVID-19 can do in terms of patients having experienced several symptoms that include breathlessness, fever, cough, nausea, sore throat. You see, all these I've listed now: blocked nose, runny nose, headache, muscle, joint pain. When you use machine learning to work in artificial intelligence, this can become features where you now begin to calculate the accuracy. You now begin to calculate the F1 factor and every other thing. Now, changing world with COVID-19 has also brought what we are doing now, what we call blended learning in education. Blended learning is ability to use both the online and on-ground innovative learning at the same time. You know, some people may not find it, but why it's a problem in Africa? Because as we are speaking now, some of you, your bandwidth is already low. So that means in terms of the online, the capacity to have a good learning using online is a problem for developing countries. So these are all the issues, and where we, it's not something your school can do. It's something that the government, because when you talk about bandwidth, you talk about frequency levels, it has to do with allocation. It also has to do with, the kind of satellite. When Nigeria was investing, they invested on satellite to dictate weather. Whereas we already know in Nigeria, it's either you have the rainy season or you have the dry season. If they have invested in telecommunication, then we will not have a problem. It also will reduce the cost of data communication. What you have in packet switch network or telephony would have been what the developed countries are benefiting because they have access to this. In fact, you can't find anywhere where I live here in Sweden that people don't have internet connection, and it's almost like nothing, you see. So blended learning is an issue now because we want to keep distance. We want to keep distance so that we don't get infected with corona virus. But then, now look at this. There's I just want to give you one example of what artificial intelligence is already being used. This is just one. A security guide. This is the train station. We call it Muduyuan metro station in Beijing. Now, the security guy, see what he's doing there. It keeps watch. A company called, a Chinese company called Medvig screen commuters. So they screen commuters for fevers when they enter this metro station. So it's an AI powered system that they use, try to reduce to contain the spread of the new coronavirus in China. So alarm, like you can see it, something much more like computer vision, application, where it's just scanned through to detect if you have any of the symptom. And once you have it, there will be an alarm that goes on almost immediately. And then, some people will come out with masks and move you to, a place where you'll be contained. So this is what an example of what artificial intelligence can do. And remember, this is part of what you are studying. And some of you will have to specialize in these areas. Now, why do we talk artificial intelligence? Why are we talking about Education 4.0? Because the IoT, what some of you call Internet of Things, already have issues. We already have issues which are called vulnerabilities. Some of you call it Internet of Things. I call it now. Those days we say it's Internet of Things. But for me now, I call it intelligence of things. We are past that level of IoT, where we use sensors. Now we are talking about much more than just sensors, even where your phone can become a contact to what we are using. So IoT vulnerabilities talk about the weak, it's gossipable, it's hard-coded passwords, it's insecure network services. You have an insecure ecosystem of can somebody mute that? Okay. So lack of secure update mechanism, insufficient privacy detection and protection. Then we have data transfer insecure, they are insecure. We have lack of devices also. So, but then we have, can that person mute that video? Is disturbing. Okay. So generally, the devices are connected. When you talk about the IoT real-time data collection, they are connected to a server via internet, where the devices are connected to the server via various protocols, like the MQTT, SMPP. The good thing about artificial intelligence and what you're studying is that you don't need a lot of money for your school to buy hardwares because they are free. These are open source. So it's very easy for you to get access of these tools. So if you know what you are doing in your research, it's very easy to coordinate them. Like I said, the data generated from these devices can be stored in database, and that is where you read the data from. You have your IoT data, and you have unstructured, and so can easily be stored in public cloud infrastructure. But then, why is AI a solution, and why is it a threat? Now, banks are already using this. I need to mute this. Someone is. Uh, banks are already using this. So, okay, good. Banks are already evaluating AI-enabled real-time analysis of ATM use, including automated CCTV for analysis, enabling faster responses to fraudulent transactions. Now, an Australian utility company is also using what we call predictive-based analytics drawing on IoT data stream to predict which condition result in equipment failure. So as a result, it can make preventive, accurate time, avoiding costly repairs. So AI is much more beneficial when it is in preventive mode. You don't wait for a problem to happen before you start using it. Now, another one is Rolls-Royce that is using AI-powered computing platform to analyze the data that is generated by their engines. So what do they do? Rolls-Royce, or what you call, can make design changes and operational recommendation to reduce the cost of airline consumption. So you also have, like now the university preparing you for a cyber physical system prevention across all industries. We're talking about preventing people from hacking into banks. We are talking about preventing government activities not to be exposed, not to be hacked by intruders. We're talking of different areas where AI can be very important. Now, this is the area I want to mention for most of you in computer science that you want to specialize. Now, what do? I call it the 12 steps of machine learning. Number one, you become a decision maker by being a computer scientist. So you begin to look at where do you want to end up? What do you want to do? And decision makers, I will call them the domain experts, those that set the objectives. So you have different steps that you need to take in those decision making. We have the data engineer. So what you are studying, you can be a data engineer, where you're also a domain expert, where you get data. Data is money. If you have data, if without data you can't do AI because you need to train those data, and from data, you can read all the, you can make prediction. So data is money to get data. So you can work there as a data engineer. You can also work in terms, that's why you have those who set the objectives, those who get the data, those who split the data, in which area, where you analyze the data, where you have what we call the cleaning method, to make sure that your data is trusted and trustworthy. Now, if your data has issues, your result will have issues. So that is why it's important. Most of us in IEEE, we have IEEE access in what we call the data ports, where we can go in and take some of this data and use it for our work. If not, some get data and sell them. You know, the same way Facebook is getting your data and selling Twitter, you know, YouTube, this is what happens everywhere. They have made billions of money from people's data. In fact, that you have a Facebook, you are practically giving them data. That is why 2 days ago, or a few days ago, the Australian government passed the law that Facebook and Google have to pay for news. They have to pay local news media for the news they carry about what those ones have written. Why? Because people don't read those news again. People don't come to your website. What they do is they read other people's website. They go to other people's website, get the details, and then they get the details, and then they don't pay you. You know, in fact, now even on Facebook, why it's important about data, you know, even your own data, they'll use it for business without paying you anything, you know, and then, but they will tell you they're a marketing company. So, and then, but you will be like, oh, you know, Facebook is free. No, it's not free because they have taken part of what you have, that is data, and they have given it to third party that you don't know. One day I was talking on phone, you know, and I discovered that what I was discussing, I started seeing it. I was talking about that I needed vitamin D with my wife. You know, we need vitamin D. And then I started seeing advert of vitamin D on my Facebook page. You know, so that means, which some of you may know, or maybe some of you don't know, that Facebook has they pick information from your microphone. You know, so if you don't know how to deactivate it, you discover that whatever you are discussing, you know, someone else is listening. You know, so we have the analyst, which some of you wants to be, analyzing issues, which that means you can work anywhere. You are not restricted as a computer scientist. You can work anywhere. You can also be an ML engineer. Now the whole world is looking for machine learning and artificial intelligence engineers. You know, no one taught me the way we are teaching you now. We had to study it. We have to read. We have to study. And then I think currently now we're only 4 in Sweden that are distinguished speakers. You know, in terms of ACM as an organization. You know, but then what do I teach? Artificial intelligence. What do I give out? Last year I spoke in about 22 programs, you know, and then we're talking about artificial intelligence. So you can be a good analyst in this, ML engineer. Then you can also train where we train the data, where we train the people's voice, because artificial intelligence do more in training. Like I said, important one is the data you get. Number 2 is how you train, because if you train wrongly, you get wrong results. Then we have those who also tune and debug. We have those who validate. We're talking about automation. We have those who test. They are test engineers. So this is what you are doing as a computer scientist. I'm just giving you the broad horizon of what you should expect. Then, of course, these decision makers, you have the software engineers. We also have the statistician. You know, some of us say, but I did not study statistics. You know, if you look at supervised and unsupervised learning in computer science, in artificial intelligence, you discover that you have regression. You know, so you need a lot of statistics to analyze data, and then being able to tell your local government, tell your company, tell whoever what they should expect, what has been and what will be. So we also have the reliability engineers. These are all those who maintain what goes on. So these are the 12 steps. These are the 12 steps of these are the 12 steps of what do you call it? The machine. Okay. All right. Good. So let's go into something else. Now, let me move your imagination again to cybersecurity. For some of you who wants to be, you know, to work in cybersecurity. 10 steps of cybersecurity. Now, this analysis that is here is what the government of India said they want to start. In fact, they are implementing it now.
This one is cyber security.
So in terms of network security, Malawi protection, in terms of monitoring, establishing effective governance structure, determining risk, information risk management, getting education, people educated, teaching people how to have an home mobile protection, how you have secure configuration, how you produce policies, and how you manage these policies. So cybersecurity is a very big thing. It's a very big thing that Indians have decided they've decided to be ahead in this. So they are trying to protect businesses against the majority of cyber threats that is coming in. Most of us know very well from Russia, from East European, and from other parts. Now, what do we do in AI? Number one, we do detection. Number two, we talk about prediction. Number three, we talk about response. These are the three things that we do in artificial intelligence: detection, prediction, and response. Then, AI as a solution, like I said again, intrusion detection system, these are areas we have used it to work. We have used it to work in these areas. Intrusion detection, this system where we say IDS, where we use the autoencoders, the CNN and the ANN. We have the Malawi detection. We have the spam phishing detection, using it for traffic analysis protocol. Now, you see, this thing I'm listing is areas some of you will do your thesis. These are areas you can work on your thesis. Analysis of binary codes using domain name generation algorithm. You can do any of these areas. These are huge, vast area in artificial intelligence that you can research on or you can work on and bring out a novelty. Somebody's making noise. Okay. So now, what is IIoT? We have said IIoT refers to the billions of internet-connected devices deployed around the world. Now, let me come down again to something. In terms of, like I told you, we have used it in this, using Malawi detection, classification, intrusion detection, network traffic identification. But what I want to bring out here is that artificial intelligence and machine learning can draw more advanced insight from data. Like I told you, the importance of data, and draw this insight more rapidly. So AI can identify unusual trends with greater accuracy and removes the need for human data review by using computer vision and speech recognition. That was what I mentioned earlier about those who are in linguistics department. Those one will be thinking, oh, they will end up going to teach language. But now, for someone who is in linguistics, can actually use speech recognition as an AI, and for us to use that to dictate what happens in cybersecurity. And for us, by speech, we can dictate, whoever has come in, maybe armed robbers, like this one, they said, you see Boko Haram people wearing masks, you can use artificial intelligence to dictate their faces, But if we have data about them stored somewhere, then it's easy to analyze them. But if a country does not have data of their citizens, it's very difficult to apply. That's why data collection is very, very vital. If you don't have good data collection, you cannot have anything, because AI works with data. So why is it working abroad? Because our data are everywhere. The government, we have passports, we have personal numbers, based on your name, DNA. These are all easy. Then when any crime is committed, people can just go in. As a computer scientist, when you talk about forensic investigation, you can pick something and then you detect, who actually break in, because you have data stored. But a situation where we don't even have anything, every day new rule comes and the one goes up in developing countries, it's practically impossible to detect any crime without data. Okay, then you have a threat. Some people say, oh, AI is a threat. Most of you in Nigeria are already saying AI is a corona, and it's another people wants to take over the world. They want Africa to be punished. All those kind of things people have not proven, but that is what we call the bias that occurs from all these things. But and they are erroneous assumptions. Erroneous assumptions. These are not true. If someone coming from South Africa and say, Prof, you are expert in AI. What is AI? And 5G. That Nigerians say 5G will kill people. 5G, they want Africa to be wiped. 5G. Boy, oh boy, 5G and 2G are emitting the same thing that you are using. So, it doesn't, those are not issues. And then they say it's 5G that brought corona. It's AI that brought, these are all fallacies, So these are all the things because people don't know, So, and as a computer scientist, if you now join them, you mess up your profession because you're supposed to have proven by going through the data to see what does it really do, So we are using it to solve problems. Training data can introduce bias also. What data are you training? Some people are even telling you, don't take my data. So these are all the things problems that come. In fact, in the one research we did in China, it was difficult to get people, data from Wuhan, where the coronavirus started. Why? Because they were protecting also their people. So these are all issues that you see every time. Then these are non-trivial to discover. And like I said again, what AI can do in terms of using it for neurodegenerative diseases. So you can see that we increase the efficiency of cyber analysis because AI will and is benefiting to what we call the electronic health. It's faster, it's less expensive, and it's more accurate. You can imagine how you can use memory-driven computing to solve unprecedented computational speed and improve, especially those who have the sickness of eczema and many other things. So you see the power of reduction, the power of analysis. We are talking about something that takes a long time, 22 minutes, and then you're having a result in 13 seconds. These are all the things. And that is one of the reasons anyway that people are able to get coronavirus vaccine as fast as it was before. Why? Because of applications of AI. So we don't need to wait for many. Of course, we are still analyzing to know what is the long-term effect of the medication that we are taking, because that one has not been proven. There is no data that people have taken it long before, and this is what happened. But in terms of the speed of production, yes, it's possible with AI and ML, application in e-health. But there is no data of those who have used it before because there was none before. So that is why it's all new, and that is why it's a little skeptic. And then as time goes on, after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, that's why they have stages of production. And then you can now say, oh, it's like normal vaccine that people take even when we were kids. You take vaccine, yellow fever, and all those things, because it has been proven for a long time. The vaccines have been proven for a long time what it can do and what it does. Because every medication you take, including Panadol, have side effects. So there's nothing that does not have side effect. But we don't know at what length with this vaccine will it be, until we have enough data to prove it. That's where AI comes in. So why AI is the future of Internet of Intelligence of Things? Now, 61% of enterprises say they cannot detect breach attempts in their company today without the use of AI technologies. 48% say their budget of AI security will increase by an average of 29% in fiscal year, this 2021 and above. Then Cisco himself, only Cisco, reported 7 trillion threats on behalf of their customers in 2018. Now, this is just one company that reports a lot of threats. In Nigeria, everybody, where people attack them every time. Some people don't even know. Some don't know that their website in Nigeria, it's not what it's showing them in Nigeria, but it's showing something else in US. So, your website in Nigeria, you may be showing your page, but it's showing something else in Russia. Why? Because they have run programs, they have run virus into your system, that you cannot even detect it to know where this is happening and why is that. Recently, we discovered in our own websites here so many things that were implanted, and they were like, oh, and you can't see most of those things. See, but if you are a good analyst, you should be able to detect these things and see the problem. Especially what some people do now, they even take over your page. They take over your page that you have paid for. So a lot of people, they have taken over their Facebook pages, and then you see the people's picture. I see most of my friends, they take over their picture, their page, and then take over their friends and start saying, send me money, send me that, and be posting rubbish into it. So these are all the things people do online. But as a computer analyst and scientist, these are areas you are going to make big, not just make a career, you also make big money. That we have so much industrial prospects in Africa, so much industrial prospects. So take your course very seriously. Take it very seriously. So we'll now look at all depends on the analyst. That's what I told you. We don't have the people. That's why you are studying this. Cybersecurity Ventures estimates, this is just in America alone, 3.5 million on few cybersecurity jobs by 2021, up to 1 million openings last year. We don't have the right training. That's why you are doing this course, so that you can be equipped. Because most companies don't have the time, to train data, to get data and train them. Companies want to make money quickly. So they don't have this setup. So, but as a computer analyst, your job, because it takes hours to train, to get your data and then use. So you become very vital for all these industries. High turnover, an enterprise security group, Information Systems Security Association, they responded that they want to take new job. So people can even switch jobs. I did not start as an artificial intelligence professor. No, I started with electronics and then move into wireless sensor network, then move into Internet of Things, then move into artificial intelligence. So now I can combine all of them. So there is no time, there is no lateness in learning. Don't say, because you're in final year, then it's over. No. You are even in the right time to begin. You're in the right time to begin. So it starts at the top. Your department, the school has already mapped out this. Your own is to make name with it. That's why we write papers. That's why we produce papers. So your own is to research on all the areas I've listed and see what you can do with them, so that we can enable what we call a sustainable future. Imagine what Microsoft said, that AI can enable a sustainable future. They argue that AI technology, is enough to help with environmental application, with major key industries, and contribute up to $5.2 trillion to the global economy in 2030. Reduce worldwide emission by 4% in 2030, and create 38.2 million net new jobs. So as a computer scientist, you are in for a very big career, because we are everywhere, every profession, everywhere. So don't take it lightly what you are doing. This is the sustainable future picture I have, where everything communicates with itself, where everything communicates with others. An ability to read and study, ability to combine what happens in the cloud and obstruct with your client station. Get the client station from your house, and everything have an access point. Every woman will become an access point. Every mobile, every what do you call it, product in terms of car, fridge, your TV, everything becomes an access point for another, because people can get your information from this. That you have your TV, like I've told you now, by your laptop, your phone, by connecting to anything app, you can have virus within your system. You can have people listening to what you are discussing. By CCTV, I can monitor, I can break into your CCTV to know what you are doing in your house. So a lot of things go on. Anything is online, the possibility that it can be viewed, it can be hacked, is 99%. So everything, but that's why we're talking about sustainable future, you know. So in conclusion, Education 4.0 is about evolving with the times, and for higher education institutions. That means understanding what is required for our graduates, for you that are listening, because we might help to prevent another outbreak of disease if we take what we are doing seriously. Imagine a global network of sensors and systems that provide an early warning system when infectious diseases threaten to become pandemic. One of the issues why it became pandemic because China did not release information, you know, and then everybody is now rushing into AI. Almost all schools abroad are doing AI. Why Nigerians we are busy negotiating with bandits? Here they are negotiating with intelligent people. Everybody is working, looking for people that will change the future. We are still, we take one step forward, we take 10 steps backward in Africa and developing countries. You see, so building one will be enormous undertaking for governments around the world. So it depends on who is in charge. But you have a good vice chancellor who has gone to the world and see things. So he's bringing that idea. But the idea cannot be marketable if you, as a student, does not make it worthwhile. So that means you have to, your potential will be unquestionable, you know, when you know what you are doing. So securing the intelligence of things, what I call the IIoT, will become actually vital to prevent hackers from also gaining access into everything we do. This is it. Ability to look, ability to dictate, ability to respond, ability to protect is very important. We don't wait for problem to happen here. We prevent it. But what we see in our country, in our area, co-developing, we allow the problem to come, and then we look for a solution, which has become very costly. And most of the time, the problem never leaves. So there's nothing that AI cannot do. We can locate with AI where Boko Haram is, where whatever people are disturbed, you can locate them, you know? So these are minor issues. But the problem is that people don't want to do the right thing. And number two, people are benefiting from it. That is another talk for another day. Thank you very much. So I'll take your questions.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sir. So I have a question. For one that wants to adventure into AI,
Okay.
where should the person start from? What advice would you give the person?
Good. Number one, AI, ML is taught abroad here for masters. You know, it's not a first degree course because of the kind of thinking it involves. So you need your first degree, you need your mathematics knowledge to be strong. You need, then I will advise you also to do your thesis. For those in bachelor, do your thesis first in AI, anything AI related. Like I told you, Anaconda, you know, Jupyter, you can download all this. You can download all the applications, download them. Now see papers people have done. You can check people like us, Google my name, see papers on AI, on machine learning, on IDS, you know, and then you can say, oh, what did we, because most of my papers, we have the, what do you call it, repository. So you can duplicate what we have done. So you can do that and ask questions. So once you have started with that, then you can do your master's in AI. You can do your master's in machine learning. And you can now start coming into that. So this is the end stage. And then from your master's will now help you into direction of exactly what you want to do. There are a lot of research in AI.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah. Tell them to, if they want to ask questions, they should unmute themselves.
Sir, please, can we keep... Okay, if you have any question, please. Do you have any question? Come. Come.
They can tell them
You
they
have
can
any
ask general questions also.
You can tell me.
And you can ask general questions.
Okay, sir, I have a question.
Okay. Okay, somebody wants to see the steps of machine learning again. Can you hear me? Tell them I will send in the video of this to them. I will send the video to them. So you can see.
There's another question.
Your bandwidth is low.
He's asking steps in machine learning.
Okay, can you speak again now? Your bandwidth is low.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, repeat the question.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sir.
They are joining. We don't know. Okay, I'm seeing him saying.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. If we have other questions,
Okay, sir. Sir, if we have other questions, can we get it to you later?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Just talk to your head.
Thank you.
He has my details. I will try to send the videos to him so that students, all of you can have access to what we do.
Can I make a little comment, please?
Okay.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I really want to thank Professor Iwendi for this stimulating talk. I am Professor Patrick Ezepwe from, I belong to Mass and Computing Department. I'm a professor of statistics and business analytics.
Yes.
And I was quite thrilled by the connections that Prof was making across those key disciplines that support your understanding of computing, AI, machine learning, and those involved statistics and mathematics.
Yes.
So my advice is that now that you are in your first degrees, please put a lot of time to learn. You know, don't get involved in pranks because you only know what you learn. Okay. People can find ways of possibly graduating at all costs, but what is important, if you listen to the professor, is that you really have to commit yourself to working hard in all these key, disciplines that you're studying within computing, because they all help you. If your mathematics is strong, if your statistics is strong, if your computing is strong, then in future at MSc level, PhD level, you can do a lot with yourself in computing. You can do a lot with yourself in statistics or even mathematics. All of them are connected at several stages. It depends on what career you want to make out of it. So I want to thank Prof again, and I want to keep encouraging you. In future, there may be some of the seminars I will also give, webinars from here. I'm equally based in the UK here. And I will be visiting Nigeria from time to time to teach some lectures. But I really want to thank Prof for what you did today. I put my email down because I'm also a student, Prof. So I hope I will get your slides.
Yes,
we keep learning at every stage in our life. We learn. What is important is humility. So even myself, I'm learning from what he was doing, and I will access the slides and study them deeply. And I want you to continue to do that. Thank you, Prof. God bless you.
Thank you very much. And please, if you have those who are in masters, if you want to have good journal, good publication, let me know. I could be of good assistance to some of you. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of the students, we would like to thank you for this lecture. We appreciate so much, sir. Thank you very much,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.